In this demonstration, we're going to show you how to calculate field values within a table. Now you have to remember that in ArcView you're not able to make changes to ArcInfo files, but you are able to make them to shapefiles. So make sure it is a shapefile you're working with. And previously for the shapefile I created some new fields called Site and Working Group, and those are the fields we're going to calculate. Now in order to start the calculation process, you first must turn editing on, and we need the editor toolbar to do that. So we go up to View here, and we go to Toolbars, and under Toolbars we look for the editor toolbar and turn it on. Alright, and then under Editor we choose Start Editing to start the editing process, and we'll just wait for this process to begin. It usually doesn't take this long, but I'm recording, so I think it's taking a little bit longer. You could go to the target, and the target's already set to the shapefile that we're trying to make the changes to. So we now have editing on. We can go to the field that we want to calculate and right mouse click on it and choose Calculate Values. And I'll just get rid of this. It's actually the formula I want, but we'll get rid of it and start from scratch. So under here we have site equals, and what site equals is, I'll just move this window over, is within the cover type field, site is the third number here, and we want to pull that out and put it in our site field. So it's in the middle of that field, and that field is the function we want to use is a string function, which are, think a string has characters as opposed to number and date. So that, again, site class is in the middle of the cover type field, so we're going to use the function mid. So we'll double click on it. Oops, we got it. I'm just going to delete this and start from scratch. I clicked on it too many times, so we click on it twice and it shows up in our calculation here. And we click in the middle of the brackets and we enter the field cover type by double clicking on it, and then we put in a comma, and then we put in the number 2, which followed by another comma and the number 1. And by looking at the cover type field, what this is telling the computer to do is to start at the second number, alright, and pick the next number that appears, alright. If I had typed in 2, it would start the second one and pick up the next 2 digits. In this case here would be 7 and a 0. So we'll click OK, and the calculations will take place. And then we just go take a look at our results. And looking at them, it doesn't look like we quite did this right. Well, let's try another calculation. Let's redo that calculation because we ended up with the second digit. So this time we'll make a change. I mean, you can always do this if you're not getting the right values, is come in here and make a change, and we're going to change the 2 to a 1, which actually we'll make it a 3, 1, and it's going to tell, starting with the third digit, take that digit itself. And we'll hit OK. And calculations take place. And we can take a look at our value for site now, and we can see that here 7 in the site class position is here, and it's correct. But there's a problem here, and I kind of did it on purpose, and that's to show you that you have to be careful when we're dealing with unproductives and we're dealing in the cover type field. Here we have unproductive, which we know by the first 2 digits being 99. Those are just filler codes, and 711 is actually the land ID repeated. And again, this is for unproductive stands which really do not have cover type values such as subtype and site class and cutting class and crown closure. And we ended up calculating these values here for site even though they're incorrect. And what you need to do first is to select the productive stands and then do the calculations for those, because the calculations will take place on the selected set of records, or if nothing's selected, it will do the calculation for all of the records. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how to calculate basically a blank for the site class field. So we'll right mouse click on site and choose calculate values again. And then this time we're going to say site equals to, and we're going to go double quote. I'm going to click the space bar for a blank and hit double quote again. And we'll just hit OK, and we'll do some calculations. And if I did this right, the site will appear to be all blanks. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to first select records based on attributes. So we're going to do a selection and select by attributes. We're going to select the land ID that is less than, whoops, I didn't get the land ID in here. So double click land ID and then click once for less than value, and then we're going to type 700 because productive land base is land ID is anything less than 700. We'll hit apply. Close that window now. We take a look and we see that it is all our productive land base has been selected. And now we're going to do that calculation for site class. We'll calculate the values, and it will do the calculation for only the selected records. Alright, so site is equal to, again, string function middle. We'll double click that. Whoops, again, I got too many of them. And then we want cover type, and then we put comma, and I believe it was 3, 1, and we hit OK. And the calculation takes place, and hopefully this time everything's correct. We can look here, and here we have a site class of 2 and a site value of 2. Here we have a site class of 3 and a value of 3 here. So it worked that time. We've done that, and anytime you do any selections, it's best to turn them off when you're done with them. So we'll go under selection, we'll clear selected features. Now we're going to go in and calculate the value for a working group. So we're going to right click on working group, hit calculate values, and working group is the most dominant tree species within the stand, and to find that we go to the, we'll pull this up out of the way, here should do it. And we'll see under species we have the most dominant species is going to be black spruce in this case, jack pine in this case. So it is the left 2 characters in the species field. So working group equals, we'll get rid of this calculation here because we no longer need that. And it's a string function, and we're looking for left. We double click it. Boy, I'm really having problems today in regards to getting that to show up, so we'll click left. We actually click it just once. And then again, we're going to use species. We'll double click it. Well, maybe just single click it. I don't know. Things seem to be working differently today. And then we just put in comma, and we want the left 2 characters. We put 2 for that. And then we do the calculation. Now you may be wondering, uh-oh, he forgot to select the productive land base again, and we're going to get wrong values for those unproductive stands. But if you take a look under species, there is no species for all the unproductive stands. So in this case, we do not have to worry about first selecting just the productive land base. And we can take a look to see black spruce, jack pine. It seems to have worked well. Now, when you're all done, what you want to do is go to your editor toolbar and turn off editing. If you're doing a long editing process, you could save your edits at any time, but by choosing stop editing here, it's going to first ask us if we want to save the edits. If you made some mistakes at this point, you could say no and they wouldn't be saved. But we like them, so we're going to say yes. And that's really all there is to it. We'll just wait for the computer to stop the editing process and save the edits. And we're done.